So in this episode of the podcast, I want to do a segment on Looksmaxxing. Why do people do it? Why is it a thing? Why are you seeing it online? And should you consider it, right? I should be, I'm going to be completely unbiased from this perspective. I'm going to talk about my own experiences, and to kind of start, I'm going to give a few definitions, but it's going to be my own opinion based on my own life experiences. And I think the place for Looksmaxxing in people's lives. And I think, there's a part of it that's very degenerate culture. And there's a part of it that maybe you can actually take something and take from it. Take from it something actually important to improve yourself as a person, to improve your life, and to improve, your chances of success in the romantic dating world, let's say. So all these things kind of come into play. So I'm going to try my best to wrap them up in today's episode of the 365 podcast. So welcome. My name's Matthew. I'm the host of this show. As always, I make an episode every day for a whole year. That's why it's called 365 Podcast. But, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. I make a podcast episode every single day for 365 days.
You will be hated for speaking the truth.
You definitely have an X-ray goggles on, where you can see someone's aura.
A house divided against itself shall not stand. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
If you want to make something of yourself, forget your political beliefs.
Because different believers experience God in different ways, different non-believers need different explanations to see God as real. Things that make you angry suck you in.
Satan's plan fails, right? And God's plan prevails.
Looksmaxxing. Let's kind of start with a couple definitions I kind of touched upon. Looksmaxxing is basically exactly what it sounds like. Looksmaxxing. You're maxing and optimizing for looks over anything else. So your physical appearance matters more than anything else. That's basically the concept of Looksmaxxing. And to kind of supplement that, the term mogging is basically what it means to kind of be better than everyone else, shine above everyone else, right? Kind of be the alpha in certain situations. There's a term called a mog, which is the alpha male of the group. It's all kind of related, because the whole point is that Looksmaxxing helps you. It kind of you're kind of it's kind of like aura farming, right? You're basically because you've optimized for your looks over anything else, you walk into a room and you just kind of have that sense of aura because you're mogging. That's basically what that means. I hope I explained it well, but these terms are also a little bit foreign to me. I tried my best to do as much research as I could on it, but this is kind of what we're dealing with, right? For some reason, it's this big thing, right? To optimize for physical appearance, whether that be through your face, mewing, of course, optimizing for a good jawline and whatever other things, specific type of haircut, and also your body when it comes to an aesthetic tone, muscle tone that comes from your body, and it's a presence. Maybe it also includes focusing a lot on shoulder build and what actually allows you to have more of a masculine stature. This is obviously a masculine male concept. Women, you shouldn't be kind of involved in that, because women focus on their beauty all the time anyway. Men kind of focused on let's say traditionally, women's kind of about beauty, and men it's kind of about their value as a man, and who they are, basically their strength, their respect, right, their reputation. Looksmaxxing is basically to say that that men have a part in this whole beauty thing as well, that is kind of more attributed to women. And it's I think that's kind of the scene that we're the picture that we're painting here when we're trying to figure out, should you kind of do it? Is it something you should kind of look at and take any value from it, basically? Because that's kind of how I look at everything. I can talk about it as being this stupid degen, just waste of time thing. But instead of me kind of doing that, because I'm a Christian man, I always look at things from the perspective of grace, right? Or at least I try my best to. Obviously I fail sometimes, of course, but in this situation, it's you have people Clavicular, of course, is the biggest name that comes up as a result of it. I look at it from an unbiased perspective. I'm not coming at it from an angry angle. And again, you can hate in the comments and you can be Clavicula's this bad guy. That's kind of what the online social media sphere wants you to be. They want you to be just angry at everything. Instead of looking at this whole space as from an angry perspective, I'm just going to take it and look at it from how I would apply it to my life, and how what I personally think of it and how valuable I think it is. So now that we kind of have that a little bit set straight, I hope at least I did my best with kind of the information I have. Basically, I think it's a good thing as a man to optimize for your appearance. As a man, realistically, you're not going to get like a woman in your life if you're just a bum, right? Like realistically, like that's the truth. And it's like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like that's kind of how it is. Especially not the types of women that like we all want, right? It's like if we all had our way, we'd have a 10, right? Like of course, like this kind like just internally, like the kind of scale of attractiveness, the vast majority of men kind of have a similar preference in terms of the scale of what an attractive woman actually looks like. And we would all want that, right? Of course. But like being a bum, being a person who is just like who doesn't take care of themselves, doesn't take care of whether it be like taking care of their face, taking care of their hair, taking care of their body, I think it makes a difference. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that it makes a difference when it comes to actually picking up chicks and picking up girls and actually like getting in that dating relationship type of scene, whatever your goals are, whether it's to just date or whether you're trying to find a wife to marry, or I mean, unfortunately, whether you're trying to have a bit of fun. I mean, of course, there are a lot of people that do that as well. That's not my personal preference, but I guess to each his own. I guess I wouldn't advocate. Sorry, I wouldn't advocate for that side, but I think just trying to find a girl you can be with and you can have a loving relationship with. I think that's a good kind of blanket for what we're all kind of trying to do in general as a man, right? As a man living in this world, preferably more so like as a Gen Z man living in this world in the current scene and context of 2026 life and 2026 dating scene. So I think when it comes to that, looks like kind of optimizing for looks is important. Like I personally prefer the aesthetic build. Like obviously I'm wearing a sweater, but it's like so you don't really see it, but I do have a pretty aesthetic body. I'm not gonna like brag, obviously, but like I feel like where I'm at with my like muscle tone is pretty good. Maybe I need a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more wouldn't hurt, but I don't want to be like beefy and bulky in that way. Like I prefer the kind of aesthetic, slim, athletic build. Like also like that is like the studies kind of say and the statistics kind of show that is like what the vast majority of women actually prefer as well. Basically like to kind of I don't know, add a little bit more peace of mind. Like looks maxing is like you're not really doing it for yourself. You're doing it to pick up girls. I think that's what I think makes the most sense. Like if you're content and you're comfortable with yourself, like and also it's like a comparison thing. Of course, the whole mogging thing, like you're comparing yourself to other men and kind of like reading the room and like like basically like aura farming and trying to see who has like the biggest presence in a room, right? The biggest masculine presence, and that is kind of the essence of why you would focus solely on looks and nothing else, is to just have a physical presence, and that physical presence also helps attract girls, and that's a part of it. That's kind of like I think that is like the main point of it. You're not doing it for yourself. I think if you are content with yourself, if you're okay with yourself, like you're happy in your own body, you're satisfied with who you are. There's always room to improve. You should never be satisfied with who you are first and foremost. But I think you can be in a point where you're like okay with where you're at, right? And it's like you're not going to be participating in any of these things. You're not even going to be looking at any of these things for a second because you're okay with where you're at. So that's okay. Like it's like you don't need to because like really who cares, right? You're trying to live your life. You're trying to do the things you need to do and pursue the things you're pursuing. So it's like really who cares about like looking good, right? If you're happy with yourself, that's good. Or if you're able to find a good woman in the position you're in, like that's good. Like there's like basically the point is like you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the kind of respect and admiration and kind of like I don't know like more chances in the dating market. You're doing for others. And it feels like to me it feels a little bit insecure personally. Like I'm saying like you would change your appearance not because you want to, but because it's like this whole trendy thing and it's like you're doing it for other people because you want to own the room and you want to have such a physical presence and like again mog in the room and like is that really masculine? Like I think you're kind of taking away from the whole masculine point of it. Like if you're purposefully setting out to do that, like kind of the most strong respected men out there, they own the room and they're not even trying to own the room. You know what I mean? And Looksmaxxing is kind of like a way you're trying to own the room. You're purposefully going out of your way to try and own the room and have the biggest presence in there. Whereas I think human psychology can tell when you're being a little bit fake and when you're just trying to do it for a recognition. And I think the real true like masculine alpha males, they own the room and they're not even trying to own the room. They're just that guy. Like they're just that person that just walks in and everyone kind of just looks at them, right? Like are in respect basically. Like those are the people that are truly like the strongest men. the people that looks max are not really in that category. But that being said, it's not a complete dig and hate towards it, because I think it is important to look at yourself in the mirror and like truly look at yourself and be like, is there something I could be doing better anywhere, like physically? And I think that's one way to improve yourself. But I think it's not the only way to improve yourself. Of course, you have to improve who you are as a person, right? You have to improve like who you are as a person. If you're very disciplined in a lot of the things you do, you probably wouldn't even have this this kind of want to looks max type of thing, because you're already good at what you do, and you can have that like level, as I was talking about before, like the contentment in yourself, that you're confident in who you are, and you appreciate who you are. And I think if you if you're not in that position, and if you're not in that position, like you see you're a little bit overweight, that's a part of it. If you see that like your hair's a mess, that's a part of it. If you see that like you have your beard is not very well maintained or something like that, like that's a part of it. And you can kind of look at all that, and it's like, like you can clean yourself up a little bit. I think cleaning yourself up a little bit, if you're kind of at that level, is not a bad thing. Like obviously always working out and exercising, eating healthy, and having a good body is not just good for other people, but also good for yourself. I think it's a positive thing. So I think all of that is kind of like intertwined with the whole looks maxing thing. And I think it all has a purpose. There are absolutely many scenarios where focusing on your looks will help you focus on other things, but you cannot isolate looks over anything else. Because I think if you want like a long-term, especially like if we're talking about like getting girls, right? And that's the reason why you looks max. If you want long-term relationships, like, maybe a woman will be attracted to you for you to kind of pick her up, and maybe you kind of go on a few dates, and like maybe you can, like, I don't know, you have that that romantic spark, the lust. Let's say the lust is kind of what comes about, rather than real, true, long-lasting love. That kind of comes about from who you are as a person, and that is where kind of women are attracted to, like on a longer term scale, and that's where you'll get recognition on a longer term scale in that regard, rather than just the quick kind of like, oh wow, this guy has aura, right? This guy has a presence, right? Oh, this guy, this guy sweeps me off my feet. You know what I mean? It's like that's only temporary. All of that's temporary, whether it's in rooms with men or you're trying to pick up girls. It's like it's all temporary. What really makes it long lasting is who you are as a person inside, and that has nothing to do with looks max. That is the internal struggle that you're trying to overcome, and the internal self-betterment that you're trying to be as a man living in this world. And I speak to the men, like, more so than the women, because again, this is looks maxing. Like, I don't think women kind of have to engage, like, they don't really engage in this type of a thing. They have their own beauty standards that are different and probably also a little bit flawed, but I'm not going to talk about that, because if I get way too deep into that, like, I'm just a dude, right? I'm just a guy talking my crap, let's say. So it's like I'm not gonna get too deep into that. I'm just talking strictly to the men, to the guys out there, like around my age, and maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, looking at this stuff, looking at a guy like Clavicular, probably watching a lot of his stuff, and it's like trying to figure out how to live your life. And it's like there's a place for it. There's a place for it. Like, I think to kind of clean yourself up and to like be able to like take care of your hair, take care of your beard, like take care of your body, and like even take care of your face. Like if you have I have like a little pimple here. I don't think it picks it up because of like I'm recording on my phone, so it's not exactly the highest camera quality. But if it was higher camera quality, you would see like the little pimples here, little like things here, little rash here and there. Like, I don't know, like putting cream on, actually taking care of your face in that way. I think there is a place for that, and I think it is important, but it's not the be all end all. I think that is really the main point. That's kind of my main opinion on looks maxing. It's not the be all end all. There is a point. There is something that's actually useful to you, but looks maxing, as I said before, you're maxing out, completely optimizing 100% for your physical looks and not anything else, basically. And it's like when you remove the everything else, when you remove actually like the actually internal self-betterment portion of who you are as a man, it's only gonna hurt you. I think there's a place to work on the outside self, but I think there's an even more importance on working on the inside self. And again, like, cultures are kind of like messed up right now. There's obviously a lot of degenerate content and culture out there in the world right now on social media, of course. And looks maxing definitely has like a sliver of that for sure, because it does feel like a bunch of guys like just literally like doing it for attention. And it's like, it feels, to me anyway, it feels like a little bit needy, and it feels like they're insecure in themselves that they have to go out there and like own rooms and stuff. Whereas if you're content and secure in yourself, like you don't need to own a room, or you can just own the room without even trying, right? You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to be a sweat at this, and you don't have to try hard so much at this that like you have to do it, right? So I think there's a place for it. It's important, but there's also a more important point and a more important place for the internal self. If you want to truly have like a long-lasting, loving relationship with someone, you want to pick up the girl that actually is going to stay with you, or you want to have the respect of the people around you. I think kind of trying so hard in that way is just going to like hurt you, because people are going to sense when you're kind of you're trying to do too much, basically. And Looksmaxxing has like, there's a part of that to me, again, my opinion, to me feels like it is you kind of trying to do too much to optimize for your looks, but like internally you're not actually like a better person. Like sometimes you might just literally be like an asshole straight up, but it's like your looks, like because you look so good, like the girl will still go out with you, she'll still like maybe be with you for longer than she should because of your physical attraction, the attractiveness. And I think like, yeah, like you have to have a level of attractiveness too. You have to have a level where you like have a respect, you like kind of take over rooms, but you can't be trying so hard, and that cannot be the thing you're optimizing for, because people will sense that. I think psychologically, internally, we have this mechanism as people where we will sense when you're kind of trying to do too much. Whereas if you just like, if that's just who you are and you make that your identity, you fix the internal before you fix the external, or maybe you do both simultaneously, like you'll just kind of start seeing that you feel more confident in yourself just naturally, and like it rubs off on other people, and other people look at you that way naturally. You don't have to try so hard, and you don't have to kind of engage in this culture of looksmaxxing to make that type of thing happen. So like, I'm kind of just saying like it is possible for you to be that type of a person, but not be so insecure, and also be super content in yourself at the same time. Whatever the goal may be, like earning the respect of the people around you, or be to actually like just straight up find a girl and find someone who can be with you for a long time, and like kind of like be like have a good impression on people, let's say. It's more so down to who you are than what you look on the outside, but at the same time there is a portion that makes sense on the outside. Like you can be like the greatest person, the nicest person, and it's like if you're ugly, like you're ugly. Like, and I think there's just like a generic level of ugliness, and there's a generic level of attractiveness, prettiness, that there's kind of like a 90%, 95% standard for what humans consider attractive or unattractive. And if you just objectively are, like, there's nothing you could do. But if you kind of try your best to improve in the ways that you can, I think it will make a difference. And I think it will help in a positive direction. It will help move you in a positive direction when it comes to like these types of goals, right? Like the finding a girl who you can be with, who hopefully like you can have a good attraction to and a real long-lasting love with. That I think is very important. And I think we all kind of internally are seeking that, and I think that's why Looksmaxxing has kind of gained popularity, because it's kind of like, oh, this is the way where you pick up girls. You do this by just mewing and mogging and having this social presence. But like, again, I think it's only temporary. It'll be like kind of good for the moment, but in the long term, it's not gonna help you. So like here's how I would kind of put it. Like if I were to Looksmaxx, like if me, the person running the show, if I were to Looksmaxx, I'd cut my hair. Obviously, you can tell that I do not Looksmaxx, obviously, based on everything, right? Like I'd probably cut my hair, maybe shave it all off, like maybe just go full buzz, or maybe just cut it like short and style it a specific way. I would cut the glasses, take it off, only wear contacts or do laser eye surgery. I'd maybe like put cream on my face, or I'd let my beard grow, and because I could grow a beard, like I don't know if you know, but I literally just shaved like 10 minutes ago. Well, not 10 minutes ago, because I've probably talked for longer than 10 minutes, but before I started this episode, I just shaved, because I don't really like the beard. I don't like the feel of it. But if I were to prioritize Looksmaxxing, I would definitely grow out the beard, because I think there is definitely this case to be made that females have a higher attraction to males with like a good, lush, like attractive beard. Like I think you know it when you see it, type of thing. So like if I were to Looksmaxx, that is what I would do. And clearly I don't do that, because I think there's a level where it's important, and I think I prioritize like making my body look nice, and I definitely like I won't rule out shaving my head. Like, I'm gonna say that much. I might very well just do that, and I won't rule out getting rid of the glasses because sometimes they are just a hindrance to me. But to do it purely just like to get attractiveness, I think it's like if a girl likes you, she likes you for who you are. She doesn't like you because you've kind of like you're just this ultra handsome guy. Like if you like, I feel like I'm not that ugly. Like there are definitely uglier people than me. I'm not that bad on that spectrum. So if I just show a little bit of confidence, like I feel like it's like we're chill. Like it shouldn't be a problem, right? But it's like there are a lot of people that unfortunately don't have that, and they maybe need to kind of like optimize to look a little bit better in themselves. And maybe looking better actually gives you a little bit more confidence just innately. And like, again, so this is the whole point. This is the whole point of what I'm saying. I'm trying to bring it all together. I'm going to bring it all together right now. The whole point is like there's a place for it. I think there's like, you shouldn't just kind of write it off as something that is just kind of degen culture. I think there's a side to it that's absolutely way too far. But if you are a person that like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, I think there is a place to be had for saying like the message of, like, try to make yourself look better in any way you can, and prioritize that. There's something to be said for that. It's not the be all end all. I think the internal, who you are, is way more important than the external. And I think if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, there is also a lot of internal work that needs to be done before the external results start to show. Like, again, if you're overweight, it's an internal thing, because laziness, gluttony, like, again, eating food, bad food, not being consistent with workouts, whatever the situation may be, stuck on the couch, sleeping too much, whatever it is, it's an internal thing to kind of build that discipline. It's internal before you start to see the external. And I think similarly, it's like with every other thing in life, you have to fix yourself before, like, fix yourself internally before you kind of prioritize the external, like how you look like. And if, like, again, if you're just doing it for show and you're doing it because you just want that extra satisfaction and validation from other people, like, people are going to realize that. People are going to kind of see right through you, because I think we all have this innate sense of knowing when someone's fake or when someone's real. So basically the whole point of all of this is to just kind of say that, like, yeah, like it's just look in the mirror, man. Like, I think, like, after you're done watching this video, just take a look in the mirror. Truly, like unbiased. Like, look at yourself. Be like if you're struggling to find a girlfriend, like, look at yourself and be like, would a girl be attracted to this, right? And look at yourself, or look at yourself and you're not satisfied with who you are. Look at yourself and be like, who am I, right? Like, am I okay where I am right now, or do I need, like, do I feel like there's somewhere to improve that would benefit me? Like, ask yourself these questions when you look in the mirror, and if you see the good, and if you look at yourself with confidence in the mirror, that's a great step to being able to transfer that into basically every aspect of your life. But if you can't look at yourself with confidence, sometimes there's a place to kind of optimize for looks, and other times, more importantly, the internal, who you are. And then as you build who you are as a person, the external will just kind of slowly follow as well. So I think that's it. That's all I got for today. I think that is my real opinion on Looksmaxxing. It can be a little bit degenerative, but there's also a place for it for specific types of people. So that's why I say, like, literally, when you're done this, look in the mirror and ask yourself these questions. Like, just ask yourself, like, are you satisfied with how you look, with who you are? Are you comfortable in your own skin? Like, do you have, like, acne and stuff? Like, do you see yourself as, like, objectively ugly, right? And if you can truly, in an unbiased way, answer those questions, I think you can come up with some answers as to how to make improvements. It doesn't mean solely Looksmaxxing, but maybe that'll be like a small part as to how you will develop into a better person, and how you will actually achieve those things you want to achieve, and you want to get into that relationship, and that's really how you're going to be doing it. There's a place to be had for it. So that is my kind of masterclass opinion, whatever you want to call this episode, on the whole concept of Looksmaxxing and this whole, like, manosphere type of thing. I'm actually surprised I haven't mentioned the word manosphere, because that's kind of like what it is. Like, it's like masculinity, and like what it means to be masculine isn't just solely prioritizing your looks over everything else. So it's my opinion, as always. Like, you do what you need to do, right? But I think I think there's a more positive influence in your life if you go and try and be a better person internally. But obviously, if you disagree with me, let me know. What would you say instead? What would you, like, what do you think is like the better take instead. This is just my take on this whole culture that seems to be kind of growing every day. But let me know, man. Let me know what you think of this episode. But that's really all I got. I don't think there's anything else I got to say with regards to this topic. If you got anything else, again, let me know. As always, show your support. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for watching. As always, like I said in the beginning of the show, I make an episode every day. There are many other episodes. This is episode 167. We're actually almost halfway through the show. So I appreciate you for being here. Like, even if it's your first time, if you've watched a few episodes, I appreciate you for being here. Again, let me know what you think. Show your support in any way you can. I would truly appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube, and follow my Spotify as well, which is in the description of the YouTube video. But yeah, that is pretty much all I got to say on the topic of Looksmaxxing. Again, I appreciate you for being here. I'm going to end it off. That's all I got to say. So thank you very much for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.